Welcome to Terrifying Tales, the channel dedicated to telling original horror stories. The House on Waverley Road by C.J. Knight. So this is it, huh? Ollie asked. I can't see what all the fuss is about. He placed a Marlboro filter between his lips and drew deep as he lit it. We'll make it work, Piper said. She popped the trunk and started unloading equipment. Ollie placed his arm over Cody's shoulder. What do you think about this place, Cody? He shrugged. Guess we'll find out tonight. Cody had done his homework. The two-storey weatherboard home came with a reputation. Its morbid history hidden in plain sight among the similar homes lining Waverley Road. Unlike the other homes, this one stood vacant. Built in 1947, the home's reputation was well earned. Between 1947 and 1970, 17 people had died in that house. The nature of the deaths varied. Most were written off as accidents and suicides. From 1970, the house remained vacant for over 40 years, falling into disrepair. The state of the home did little to change the narrative. It quickly became the haunted house. Kids ventured inside at night on dares, leaving with tales of ghostly sightings and other unexplainable occurrences. In 2014, a man with a plan purchased the home for a steal. Gary Tippins was his name. The house on Waverley Road became a passion project for him during time away from work. He restored the home to its former glory and rented it out for the first time in 2019. The reputation worked in Gary's favour. Morbid history attracts a quirky type of renter, but a paying renter nonetheless. The home was quickly booked out for months in advance. However, the success was short-lived. The very first guests were found dead after the first night. The bookings cancelled, and the house has stayed vacant ever since. When Cody contacted him, he was more than happy to hand over the keys. Cody ran a ghost hunting channel on social media. He ran the channel with his old high school friends Ollie and Piper. The three had gained quite the following. They investigated some of the alleged most haunted places in the world. It was a channel dedicated to the truth, and the loyal fan base appreciated the efforts the three went to disproving reputed hauntings. The three skeptics wholeheartedly believed not once had they found any evidence of a legitimate haunting. Don't worry, I've got it, Piper said, pushing between the pair breathlessly, carrying a black equipment case. I can't read your mind, Ollie said, flicking the cigarette butt toward her back. Rather than getting shitty, how about you actually ask for help? Piper flipped Ollie the bird without turning back. Come on, let's get the rest. Cody lifted the rest of the equipment out and closed the trunk. The woman appeared out of nowhere. Fuck! The container slipped from his hands and hit the ground. You scared the shit out of me, lady. You shouldn't be here, she said. Okay, crazy, Ollie said. Don't you have 43 cats waiting at home for you? She ignored Ollie's jab. Piper returned from the house to join them. Oh, hi, how are you? Are you one of the neighbours for the night? There's nothing but death waiting for you in there, the old woman said. Her grey eyes remained on Cody. Piper whistled. Nothing like a warm, friendly meet and greet with a new neighbour. The house keeps whoever stays in there too long forever, the woman said. So are your cats still alive, or are they all stacked in the freezer because you can't bear to let them go? Ollie asked. Why is she staring at me? Cody wondered. Well, it was nice to meet you, he said, picking up the equipment and making for the house. The code to the lockbox by the front door was exactly as promised, and he quickly grabbed the key. Could you hurry it up, please? Ollie said. She's deciding whether we'll fit in her freezer with the dead cats. Piper stifled a giggle. The door opened into a large entryway. Not too shabby at all, Ollie said. It's definitely a step up from most of the places we visit, Piper added. The pair weren't wrong. Gary Tippins had done a fantastic job of the renovations. The home maintained the aesthetics of a large 1940s home, but the fresh paint, polished floorboards and updated furnishings gave it a modern edge. The old woman was still by the car, staring up at them. Those dead cats are going to be worried sick about her, Ollie said. Cody slammed the door. Enough with the cats, Piper groaned. Can you please help me set up, Ollie? Ollie extended his arms away from his body. All you had to do was ask, my dear. The trio spent the next few hours setting up stationary cameras, EMF readers and a spirit box in the lounge room. I suppose we should do the walkthrough, Ollie said, lighting another cigarette. Piper shook her head. We're going to get stung for extra money when Gary smells the smoke, you dipshit. Oh, really? Ollie said, wincing his face like he sucked on a lemon. The guy who wants us to prove this place isn't haunted is going to risk pissing us off over a cigarette. Enough, Cody butted in. I swear you two should get it over with and just sleep together. Ollie's lemon face remained. Piper punched Cody in the shoulder. Let's just do the walkthrough. Piper grabbed the camera. There's so many stories here I don't think we'll have time for them all before we lose the light. The sun was dipping toward the horizon. Where do you want to start? Cody's hand ran through his hair and came to rest on the back of his neck. Maybe we just settle for a greatest hits package of the more famous stories. We'll do the intro and the entryway and head to the kitchen. You guys can follow me around from there. Ollie put his headphones on and grabbed the boom mic. As Cody stood in the entryway, Piper held a finger up. She dropped it, showing she was recording. Cody's face grew solemn. Welcome to Spectre Inspector, as we come to you from the inside of another famous haunted location. This home has a dark history, littered with violent, sometimes unexplainable death. Some say death isn't the end here, and those that die remain to claim the souls of anyone stupid enough to remain inside these walls after dark. Welcome to the house on Waverley Road. Piper and Ollie panned and moved to the side as Cody entered the kitchen. The room had been updated more than any other in the house, a sea of white countertops and tiles. Cody stood in the centre of the room. The year was 1947. Margaret King and her husband David were the first owners of this home, a symbol of great status for the time. David had served his country during World War II, and the pair had quickly wed upon his return home. Margaret's family were wealthy, and despite them not being fond of David, Margaret's parents helped them financially to acquire the beautiful home. Cody stepped toward the kitchen sink, the only remaining original fixture of the kitchen. It was here one fateful night that Margaret unexpectedly snapped. Whilst peeling vegetables, she turned the knife on her unsuspecting husband, who was seated at the kitchen table. Margaret opened his throat before turning the knife on herself. They were found the next day when David failed to show for work. The official report showed that Margaret suffered a hysterical episode, leading to both of their deaths. But once the bodies were removed, there are those that believe Margaret never left. There are multiple reports of thrill-seekers who've entered the home after dark. They mention being chased from the home by a screaming woman in a yellow dress, her slashed wrists on display, her hand wielding the peeling knife. Cody couldn't help but smile as the others followed him from the room. He noticed Ollie's Adam's apple shift as he spoke. Cody knew he'd nailed a story when he frightened Ollie. Cody led the way to the lounge room. The static of the spirit box hummed in the background. Cody took his position by the fireplace. The year was 1958. The Buxton family was celebrating Christmas. What should have been a joyous occasion quickly turned to tragedy. The youngest child, Mary Lou, aged 5, sat too close to this very fireplace. The poor girl's nightdress caught fire, and she died in front of the rest of the family. The Buxtons were grief-stricken, unable to continue living in the home that claimed the life of their child. But not all the Buxtons left. People report hearing a child's laughter in this room, ghostly whispers, and objects vanishing, only to turn up again in different locations. There's even reports as recent as 2014 of the happenings in this room, when the home was under renovation. Over the static of the spirit box, the faintest sound of a child's giggle broke through. Ollie and Piper exchanged puzzled glances. The stairs groaned beneath their feet as the trio climbed to the second floor. Cody led the way into the bathroom. He knelt beside the white porcelain clawfoot bathtub. It stood out in the otherwise modern room. This was the final resting place of Bethany Richmond. It was 1964. Bethany was married to Edward. Those who knew the couple believed Edward to be an abusive husband. Bethany wanted nothing more in the world than to be a mother, but it wasn't to be. Melancholy took hold, and Bethany was at her wits' end with Edward. She took the shotgun from the cupboard and gunned him down as he slept. Bethany then came here. where she filled the bath and went under, never coming up for air again. People have occasionally claimed that the bathtub mysteriously fills on its own, with no explanation. Will it fill for us tonight? We'll have to wait and see. The last stop on the walkthrough was the garage. In 1970, Nathan Williams lived alone in the house. He was strong and a hard-working young man, but those that knew him saw a decline in his health whilst he lived here. Nathan aged quickly as a lack of sleep and sudden dependence on alcohol took hold. His behaviour surprised people. Those closest to him remember his drunken rants about the unexplainable happenings in the house when he lived here. One night after too much to drink, Nathan pulled his car into the garage. He never turned the car off and died of carbon monoxide poisoning. They listed the cause of death as an accident, but if that was the case, and Nathan really passed out, then who closed the garage door? Ever since that day, people report hearing a car running in the garage, only to find it empty upon inspection. Is Nathan still here? Or is there a perfectly normal explanation for what people have heard? "Cut," Piper said. "That might be the best one you've ever done, Cody." "You think?" "I'll say," Ollie said. "You have me creeped out and it's not even dark yet." "Well, that's not exactly hard," Piper joked, punching Ollie in the shoulder and shooting him a wink. The three returned to the lounge room to eat the food they packed and plan out the night ahead while they waited for nightfall. But like all plans, they have a tendency to fall apart. "So we all know what we're doing?" Piper asked, handing out head cameras and walkie-talkies. "Yes," Ollie groaned. "How could I not? You rambled on about it more times than the crazy lady has cats." "Well, where are we going then, smartass?" Piper asked. "Cody's staying right here with the spirit box to get in contact with the little girl. You're the dumbass sitting in the kitchen waiting for the psycho lady with the knife, and I'm going upstairs to sit on the toilet and look at a bathtub." "Then what?" Piper asked. "Then we'll sit in the garage and sing campfire songs," Ollie sneered. "The whole time we pretend we see and hear shit that I'll edit in later, then we'll explain it all away with completely normal solutions backed by science." Cody nudged Piper's shoulder. "He's getting better. Next time you may only have to tell him 40 times before it sinks in. Now fuck you guys." Ollie switched his head camera on and stormed out of the room. "Another lover's quarrel," Cody said. Piper flipped him the bird and headed for the kitchen. Cody, now alone, switched his head camera and walkie-talkie on. They always worked in the dark. Cody switched his head torch on for the fans, who would watch the fully edited video later. The spirit box static flickered once more. A faint whisper of a child's voice seemed to carry through, but Cody couldn't be sure. It was too faint to make out any words. Ollie made his way into the bathroom and closed the door. He lit a cigarette as he sat on the toilet. "Welcome to Bathtub Watch, the least exciting video in existence." The cigarette dropped from his lips to the tiles as he noticed the water. The tub was filled to the top. Without taking his eyes away from the water, he lifted his walkie-talkie. "Alright, which one of you guys is fucking with me?" Piper responded. "What are you whinging about?" "The bathtub. It's full." There was a moment of silence at the other end. "Nice try, arsehole." "I'm not fucking kidding. It's full." Cody heard the exchange but couldn't find his walkie-talkie. It had been by his side moments earlier. Through the sound of the conversation, he found it between the cushions of the sofa. "Weird," he whispered. "Nice try, dipshit," he said into the walkie. "Save the battery." Ollie's breath left his lips like fog as the room grew ice cold. Fuck this. He turned to leave and he saw her blocking the door. The waterlogged body of Bethany Richmond stood deathly still, head bowed, hair covering her face. Her pale blue eyes, full of hate, peered between the drenched strands of hair. Ollie couldn't look away. He lifted the walkie and pressed the button. He managed a single word through his terror. "Help." Bethany rushed forward. Piper and Cody heard the thump on the ceiling above. Cody rushed towards the stairs. "Don't leave the room." The spirit box crackled. He bumped into Piper at the foot of the stairs. "What's going on?" "I don't know," Piper said, but dipshit isn't answering his walkie. More thumping carried down the stairs. The pair burst through the closed bathroom door. Ollie struggled as she held his head under the water. Bethany Richmond turned toward them. Cody's blood ran cold. as the torchlight revealed the blue puffy skin and pale blue eyes. And just like that, Bethany vanished. Ollie lifted his head from the bathtub, sucking in air. "What the fuck?" he screamed. "Did you see her?" "I think we should get the fuck out of here," Piper said. Cody and Piper lifted Ollie by the arms and struggled into the hallway. "You'll never hurt me again, Edward," Bethany whispered. The shot was deafening as the plaster exploded beside Cody's head. Bethany staggered forward with the shotgun levelled at them. The second shot exploded into the staircase handrail as the trio descended. "This can't be real," Ollie blabbered. "Tell that to her." Cody led the way toward the front door. "Let's go!" The kitchen door burst open in front of him. Margaret King emerged. A psychotic grin spread across her face. The gentle patter of blood fell from her wrists to the floorboards. She tilted her head sideways and raised a peeling knife as she eyed Cody. "It's been so long since I've had anyone to cook for. Won't you stay a while?" Piper grabbed hold of Cody's shoulder. "Nope." She dragged the boys toward the garage. They pushed their way inside. Margaret and Bethany hurried along the hallway toward them. In their terror to slam the door closed, they didn't notice the car engine running. The garage was filled with exhaust fumes, causing them to cough. "Come on, let's get the garage door open. We have to get out of here now," Piper said. The beat-up sedan sat idling in the centre. They fumbled their way around to the garage door. "Come on," Cody grunted as the door refused to budge. Margaret and Bethany beat at the door. "How about a drink, little lady?" Nathan Williams said as he grabbed Piper from behind. Cody and Ollie turned to see Nathan's grey bloated body and bloodshot eyes. They grabbed Piper's arms and pulled her away from him. The door burst open as Margaret and Bethany entered. The shotgun blast shattered the windscreen. "Watch my car!" Nathan moaned. Ollie dragged Cody and Piper down behind the car. "How the fuck are we getting out of here?" he whispered. "There's only one way out of here," Cody breathed. The scraping sound carried toward them as Margaret ran the blade of the knife down the side of the car. "There's my cutie pie," she said, staring down at Cody. "This way it is," Piper said, dragging the boys along the other side of the car. The shotgun blast cannoned into the driver's side door. "You're wrecking my car!" Nathan screamed. "I'm going to kill somebody!" Piper, Ollie and Cody ran through Bethany like she wasn't there as they slammed through the door into the hallway. They bounced off and sprinted toward the front door. "It won't open!" Ollie screamed as he pulled at the handle. "Let me try!" Cody said. He pulled on the handle. The door opened a fraction before slamming back closed. "You're staying, cutie pie," Margaret said as she entered the hallway. "In here!" the childish voice cried through the spirit box. The trio sprinted into the lounge room. Margaret, Bethany and Nathan appeared at the doorway. Cody, Ollie and Piper cowered together in fear. The lounge room door slammed shut and the sofa slid across to block the door. The tiny burnt figure of Mary Lou Buxton appeared. "Hurry, leave through the window." The curtains lifted beside the fireplace and the window slid open. "I'll hold them back as long as I can. They will trap you here forever if they catch you." Cody, Ollie and Piper didn't need Mary Lou to repeat herself. One at a time they dove headfirst into the garden. They didn't break stride as they sprinted for the car. "You should have listened to me!" the old woman screamed from the street. "No shit!" Ollie screamed back. Cody put his foot down. Smoke filled the street as the tyres squealed. That was the last time Cody, Ollie and Piper ever investigated a haunted location. That night remains forever on their minds. Cody learned pretty quickly he had a stowaway. Objects move around his home and end up in odd locations all the time, but he doesn't mind. If it wasn't for little Mary Lou Buxton, he wouldn't still be breathing. If you like what you heard, please like and share the video. Please leave a comment and subscribe to the channel. And remember, the dark plays tricks with our minds, but sometimes it's not a trick. Sometimes there really is something there.